Let's go to London and our correspondent there, Jonathan Sacerdoti. And Jonathan, if this is a spy story, it's a sequel of sorts, or even a part 3 or 4, we don't know. How convincing are British threats to take some kind of action against Russia when it seems they may have struck again?
Well, Kalev, it's a good question, because many have said that after the Alexander Litvinenko case, Britain really didn't do enough to prevent something like this happening again. And if this is connected eventually to Russia, then it would seem that those critics might have been right, that Russia feels it could act with impunity, killing agents in the United Kingdom. Of course, an embassy press officer from the Russian embassy here has said that the foreign secretary spoke in such a manner as if the investigation was already over and Russia was found responsible for what had happened in Salisbury. And he said they regret that instead of a proper official clarification on the issue, the foreign secretary chose to threaten Russia with retribution. Looks like the script of yet another Russian campaign has already, anti-Russian campaign, excuse me, has already been written, he said. But just yesterday, when this story was breaking, Vladimir Putin himself was addressing the FSB, the Federal Security Service of the Russian Federation, and he certainly seemed proud of how Russia was curtailing the activities of foreign agents.
All of you are well aware of the growth of foreign intelligence service activities which have been registered over the last few years. They are pretty much concentrated on Russia and use the most advanced methods of human and technical intelligence. As recently as last year, the work of 72 employees and 397 agents of foreign special services has been foiled.
Jonathan, despite those comments from Putin, Russia continues to say we have no information and we're very saddened about the news. We're willing to help. What recourse does the British government, police, authorities, what can they actually do?
It's not really known exactly how they could react to this. Boris Johnson obviously was threatening when he spoke earlier in the House of Commons of taking robust action. He even hinted at some sort of sanction which would involve Britain not being represented at the World Cup, but then reeled that back in, and they said that simply Britain would take part, but maybe officials from Britain, politicians, might not attend. Those sorts of threats seem to ring very hollow. In the meantime, we still don't know what substance these two were exposed to. The investigation has now been handed over to counter-terrorism police, who are more experienced in these sorts of cases, and toxicology results should be released soon, which might give a bit more of an indication of whether or not this was a Russian action.
Jonathan, I know that London, I don't know about the whole UK, but certainly London has become a favorite destination for Russians, Russian expatriates. You would think that they would be taking a little more care, or they're a little more concern over their security, given the track record that we've seen there in the UK.
Well, there is a lot of Russian money in the United Kingdom, absolutely, with some oligarchs and others investing their money in British property in particular. And similarly, in this case, we can see that there have been defectors, people who have been double agents, who have been acting on behalf of the British intelligence services as well. If this, of course, is a case of a double agent having been released in an official swap between Russia and America, and then that agent having been housed in the UK, he should have been protected. Russia should have respected the swap and not tried to go after him, and the UK should have protected him and his family. Instead, we now see this agent, this former agent, and his daughter critically ill in hospital.